Hello, this is Manny Hishma with the LARP.com crew, and today we are interviewing Kate. How do you pronounce your last name, Kate?
Innancone.
Innancone, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. LARP.com is conducting this interview in order to get the true story of LARPers. So, Kate, did you have any initial thoughts about what LARP meant before attending your first event?
Well, I'm a second generation tabletop gamer, so I had a pretty good idea of what it meant just because I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and I did a lot of theater. So I figured it was like the two merged.
Right. So that's actually really cool that you say that. So I've played D&D before too. I've also played Pathfinder, and I actually started that after I did my first LARP. So usually some people start out before, and it's just crazy how you can mix the two. But it's fun to make it real life.
It's true.
So who or what got you into your first event?
Well, I was in community college at the time because I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do career-wise, so figure start out there. And a group of the new friends that I made at the community college invited me to a World of Darkness game. So, again, I figured I'd done a lot of theater, I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and other similar tabletop games, so I figured, why not? That's the next logical step, right?
That's true. So for World of Darkness, for those of us who don't know what it is, can you explain a little bit about it?
World of Darkness is a series of games published by a company called White Wolf, where it's usually a modern setting, not always, but usually, and it's sort of a dark, like obviously as the name implies, a dark, modern horror gothic fantasy setting, where games include vampires, werewolves, changelings, mages, lots of different things that usually are trying to blend in with human society and hide their existence while continuing to do whatever it is they do, depending which type of creature you are.
So what character did you play in that LARP?
In that one, I played a mage. I figured I had no idea about the setting or anything like that, so I made a character who was as in the dark about everything as I was. She was a mage, the type of mage called an orphan, which means she had no formal training, and so that I could learn as she did about everything else in that world. And she basically knew how her own powers worked, and that was it. Everything else she learned from the people around her and the experiences she had during the game.
Oh, cool, interesting. So with that being said, so that was your first event. Now, is there anything that you wish you would have known or wish you would have been better prepared for before that first event?
Well, that's a tough one. It was also a very long time ago. I maybe wish I had been a little better prepared for the backstabbiness of that particular setting.
That's always fun.
Not quite prepared for my friends to turn on each other and me as much as they did.
Oh no.
But that's World of Darkness for you.
Interesting. So where exactly is World of Darkness located?
Well, this particular game that I played doesn't really run anymore.
Oh, okay.
It was just a group of friends from college, and we've since sort of gone our own separate ways. So, but there is the Mind's Eye Society regularly runs World of Darkness games. I don't personally play in the Mind's Eye Society, but they do have organized play that's pretty much runs throughout the United States.
Okay. So in LARP, what kind of roles do you like to play the best?
Oh, I like to mix it up. I always try to have like very different variety of characters. Though I do tend to favor good guys. What that means for each character that I play is very different. But I do like to be the hero. I do have one evil character currently, though. So that's fun little step outside of my comfort zone.
Can you explain a little bit about that character?
Well, I made her for what I thought was going to be a one-shot event. My main game that I play in, Night Realms, it has one event a year that they call their alt event, where everyone makes a new character, and all of the pre-existing groups don't exist anymore. Everyone's the same power level, and everyone's a new character that they're still getting used to, and it's actually, I really like that. It's a nice little break from what we usually do, but it's also usually only for one event. And I I made this character with a very simple, attainable in one event goal, which was kill that guy. And I did. And then I sort of expected that she would get caught, get executed, and that would be that. But she didn't get caught, and she survived, and they told us if we wanted, we could keep those characters. So I was like, well, I guess I have an evil alt now.
So playing the hero is really fun, but I do myself also like to, stray a little bit and kind of mix it up, and playing the villain can be fun as well too. I can see where they kind of balance each other out for playstyle purposes. Now, what can you say is the most eventful LARP that you have attended so far, and why?
Ooh, that's tricky. Because my playstyle is very much to chase the plot bunnies.
Plot bunnies?
Yes, plot bunnies. Like, I always try to get involved in what's going on, even if it's, like, way above my character's pay grade. And so, most of my LARPs tend to be very eventful. My very first event that I ever attended for Night Realms was pretty eventful. This is the character that I played, and oh man, that was such a complicated story. I don't even know how I can explain it. But we were on this magic island called Mercy that people would be brought there in the moment when they would otherwise have died, but then they couldn't get off.
Oh, wow.
And no one who lived there had come there from anywhere else other than being brought there when they were supposed to die or being born there. Except until one day the stranger showed up.
The stranger?
The stranger, who was a big old plot NPC, and all of the different groups on the island had different ideas about what to do with the stranger. There was one group that thought, hey, this means that we can theoretically get off the island now. Another group was like, hey, why is he the exception to the rule? Let's study and learn more. My character's group was happy to live on the island and sort of worshipped it almost like a god. And we're picking up on things like ever since the stranger arrived, there were things like earthquakes and sinkholes opening up, and clearly the island didn't want him there. So, and it was later revealed that he was a dragon who was trapped in human form, trying to steal the power of the entity that created the island. And my character very much being a dryad, being very much part of whatever land she's on, thought of the island as a mother figure, so that wasn't okay. And we weren't able to save the island from the dragon completely, but we were able to save a small piece of the being that had created the island. And she ended up being the caretaker of that piece and helping it to grow and regain its power that it once had.
Oh, cool.
And still, 3.5 years later, is still protecting that thing.
Wow. So that seems interesting. So for that LARP that you're describing now, what is your character's name?
Her name is Midori Suarez, Daughter of Mercy.
Oh. Interesting. Well, again, your garb is definitely impeccable.
Thank you. That's actually the same LARP where I have the evil alt, so it's interesting because I have the two characters that are, one is such a good guy and the other is such a bad guy.
It's good that you're able to bounce back and forth. Now, can you tell me, how has LARP positively affected your life?
It has given me a lot of confidence in myself. I have been able to explore different aspects of myself, different aspects of the world, and different mindsets. I studied psychology in college. That's what I ended up doing, and I work in mental health care. And it's sort of given me an opportunity to explore a lot of different perspectives on the world as well, and see how each one of them is so very different, but also very valid. Like they're all, everyone's sort of right in their own way, but no one's completely 100% right. Everyone's got their flaws, everyone's got their strengths. And I've sort of been able to, like, in my own real life, when I need a particular type of strength, I can almost call on whatever character I play that has that sort of strength.
I love that. That's really interesting. I look at LARP the same way. It's in my mind, it's kind of like an escape. You're able to create your own character and just be yourself and play it how you want to play it. So I can definitely agree with you on that. Now, with that being said, how has your view of LARP changed over time from your first event that you mentioned that you did in college until now?
Well, I have learned a lot more since then about almost etiquette in terms of how best to play LARPs, by learning from things that I liked and things that I didn't like of all the different LARPs that I've played. Like, I've had experiences where I've showed up to a game for the first time and there's a huge power gap between people that have been there a long time and me, this new starting character, and maybe the starting characters get ignored or something like that. I once, at my first time at a game, had the person who was giving me the tour call me a red shirt. So that was fun. So now, in the playstyle I have now, I try to make the sorts of characters that are approachable for new players, or ones that will walk up to total strangers and say hi and help them get involved.
We all, I know when I was a new player, I needed that extra push, so it's really good that you're able to do that for people.
I'll try to run up, especially as Midori, I'll run up to people and be like, "You're my friend now. Hi, how are you?" Or if there's something going on and someone I haven't seen before looks like they're not sure what they should do, I'll go up to that person and be like, "We need your help."
I think as a person going to LARP for the first time, it's kind of hard when you're doing your first LARP because it's like, you want to get into the game, you want to be sociable, but you're learning. So when there's people there who are actually able to grab you into the game and just pull you in and just be like, hey, I'm here for you, let's go do this. Like, it's awesome. I love players like that. So
that's exactly why I do it, because I want people to be able to enjoy their first event.
Right.
A first event can make or break it for someone.
Exactly.
And if they get shunted to the side, they're not going to have fun, and they may not come back, and they may decide that they don't like LARPing. On the other hand, if at their first event they're made to feel welcome and they're made to feel like they're a part of it, then they'll keep coming back, and they'll get to the point where they can do that for other people, where they can be the stronger character who invites the younger ones to get involved.
So as far as events go, are there any upcoming LARPs that you're looking forward to going to?
Well, I'm sort of in a position where I almost have too many.
Too many?
There's so many that I want to go to, but I already go to a bunch, and I only have so much money and so much time. I gotta actually go to work and stuff.
No, I gotcha.
The ones that I play in regularly now are Night Realms. It's the one I've been talking about. I'm actually a player liaison and a moderator for a game called Stardust, which is a Maho Shoujo anime LARP. And I play in a Star Wars game that runs during the summers, and in a game called Acendia, which is sort of a post-apocalyptic medieval fantasy.
Interesting. I know I've heard of Acendia. I think there's a chapter around down where I live. I think there's one in Maryland, I believe.
Yeah, I usually play in the New Jersey one.
Okay. Now, if this is the question of the hour, this is my favorite question because the LARP community has so many creative minds. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say. If you could choose the next greatest up-and-coming LARP idea, what would it be and why?
Oh, God, can I think about that for a minute?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Well, there's plenty of fantasy LARPs already out there. So we'd want something different. Someone could find a way to manage to pull off a superhero LARP that could be feasible. It's a little tricky because most people can't fly.
Not yet. Give it time.
Yeah. Jetpacks.
I go for jetpacks. Yes, good idea. Now, in that setting, what kind of character do you think you would want to play? Who's your superhero?
Well, I've done a couple of superhero tabletop games. I think I'd be a tie between two characters I've played. One is named Mim, who has the ability to manipulate sound, which is really versatile. If you're creative in how you use that power, you can do a lot with it. The other one is actually not a superhero at all, but was a reporter with an alliterative name who dated a superhero, found out he was a superhero, immediately broke up with him, and started taking every self-defense class possible. Because what always happens to the superhero's girlfriend, especially if she's a reporter.
Right.
So I sort of played with that trope a little bit.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely think a superhero LARP would be awesome as well. But listen, I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. It was really good to get your input and also learn some of your story. If Guys, if you haven't checked us out yet, check us out on LARP.com. Thank you again, Kate. We do appreciate it. And you have a great evening.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Thank you.